I know we live in a world where everyone's offended at everything, so you can't really live there.
Yeah.
But has there been jokes that you guys have put out that was put out with good intentions, but then you realize, you know what? This is something that maybe we should not have posted. This is maybe something that was too far. Has that happened?
Yeah, it's happened a few times. Usually it's, after death or tragedy. The one thing, any comedian will tell you this, when something horrible happens in the news, comedians immediately have jokes running through their head about it.
Yeah.
Like immediately, because we're twisted, weird people. Like, and that's how people deal with sad things a lot of times,
Right.
And so, anytime, I mean, you should see our writers forum sometimes. Something horrible happens and we're immediately like, I know I can't publish this, but I just have to get it out, And so, there have been times, I remember the withdrawal from Afghanistan when, all those people died and there were people, you remember those stark images, people like hanging on to the landing gear of planes trying to escape Afghanistan, how horrible and tragic it was. And we did a headline about how the people trying to escape Afghanistan, they politely decline a flight on Spirit Airlines. Like Spirit Airlines is there, like, come on, guys, and they're like, no, we'll wait for the next one. And people got upset about that because it was like still happening. It was still really sad, and so maybe a little too soon is usually the criticism. Usually the joke is okay, but you need to wait a little longer.
Yeah.
There was another one early on that we published about an evangelical author, and we didn't know that she had died like that day. We had no clue. We just happened to be publishing it about this woman, and she had died, and so people thought we were publishing it in response to her death, and so there was a lot of pushback on that. So you just have to be careful. You got to be very aware
Of what's going on.
You never want the if it's going to cause a reaction and it's going to make people angry, it should be for a purpose. It should either be really, really funny or it should be making an important point. You never just want to tick people off for its own sake.
Right. That's a crazy. That's a great headline though. For those that we haven't flown Spirit because I am again one of those people that just won't fly Spirit. Our friends,
you fly Spirit once and then never again.
And then you were just flying in Spirit.
Yes. We do a lot of Spirit headline jokes. I feel bad for them, but we do ones where they have a bargain. We did one where they had a bargain option where they just fling you in a catapult, for $100 less. They'll just fling you in the air. But
then anything in your pockets, they're going to charge you extra for.
Yeah. Poor Spirit.
Oh, man. Which leads me into an interesting thing when it comes to parody and then offending organizations and people. Obviously, you guys have written articles that I'm sure had people and teams and organizations reach out to you and say, you've got to stop. Have you guys received cease and desist letters? Have you guys, is that a common thing where organizations don't think it's funny that you're making fun of their company and that you guys have to deal with that? Like, walk me through what you're allowed to share, some of the crazy situations that you guys have had to deal with, and is that a thing you guys struggle with?
Yeah, we do. We get cease and desist letters. We get usually, legally, if a corporation wants us to stop making fun of them, usually the way that they can kind of legally stop us is, hey, you used our logo in your Photoshop, and we don't give you permission to use our logo. So usually what that entails is, okay, we'll just change the Photoshop, and now you can't do anything about it. So. We've had letters like that from teams of lawyers. It's really annoying. Most of the time, though, it's on social media. That the most recent example was Carrie Lake, who ran for governor of Arizona. She's a Republican. A lot of conservatives like her.
She used to be pro-life.
And she kind of came out as more pro-choice, and that created a lot of anger in her fan base. And so we did a headline that was Carrie Lake announces plans to lose another election, but also while supporting baby murder. And so her team got so mad. Her team started.
I saw this.
Yes.
They had a big back and forth with
Yes.
Seth or with Kyle or someone,
Yes,
right?
they said that this is their criticism was this is
Kerry
invalid.
Lake's War Room.
Yeah.
That's the Twitter account, by the way.
Invalid satire is what they called it. This satire is invalid, and that was the funniest thing. I like what it's like. Did our satire card did we max out our card and it got declined? Like and so like we had so much fun with just that phrase invalid satire. So we responded by posting a job. You can see it on our Twitter feed now. We're actually hiring, I think, offering $65,000 a year for a satire validator to make sure that we don't anger any politicians with our satire. So
gotta make sure that stuff's valid, man. Gotta make sure
it's valid. So I mean, our cannons are pointed all directions.
Yeah.
You know, we're Christians. Obviously, we have a point of view. We have a certain worldview.
Yeah.
But we can never be so precious that we're unwilling to skewer our own side.
I know that you told me, and I don't know if this is something you could probably talk about, but tell the people, if you can, about the Awana situation.
Oh man, I forgot about that.
So for those, let me preface that.
That.
Most of my listeners probably have no idea what Awana is when I say what Awana.
You got to explain Awana.
So let me explain Awana, and then I'll let you take over.
Yeah.
So in evangelical circles, Awana is a kids program that is a lot of churches take part in. That allows kids to be brought up through like the faith of what we believe. So it'll make it fun. So it's like you memorize Bible verses, you do this, you get like vests, and it's like a whole program that's uniform across different churches. So
you memorize verses, and you'll get little badges for each verse.
And you have like a little vest, and Sparky is like the mascot, and you get your little Sparky outfit, and then like some church. I didn't even know this, by the way, because our church growing up, we didn't really partake in like Awana like their national organization. Yeah. But they have like Awana Olympics.
Yeah.
They have like, it's a big, just evangelical, just, cool program for kids. And so, anyway, so that's what Awana is. So tell me about the joke you guys made with Awana and
Yeah. So we this is at a time when Trump was kind of like having these awkward attempts to endear himself to the evangelical world, and it was always so so off and hilarious, but also kind of endearing, and he obviously knows nothing about Christianity and the Bible, but we had a headline that was like Trump proves how evangelical he is by showing off his fully completed Awana's vest. And we had a Photoshop of Trump wearing his red Sparky vest with all his Bible verses on it, and standing there with that Trump look on his face, like all proud of himself. Just such a classic, like Trump, like you can, and Awana sent us a cease and desist letter over that. They were so mad because I think this was also during a lot of like the racial tension in like 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
And they were concerned that Trump being associated with Awana would hurt them in their ministry, and I saw where they were coming from, I guess. But Seth, our owner Seth, he's such a belligerent cuss, he just immediately is like, nope, I'm going to tweet this out and make it public.
That's hilarious. I died when you told me that on the phone before when we were talking about the podcast. Yeah. Like that was the funniest thing I've ever heard, because I could just imagine how great of a picture, and I'll put that picture up and post too.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's a great headline.
Classic Trump.
I mean, man, the fact of just your guys' brains work in such a unique way, and you guys just find gold, and it's just great, man. And I think
it's fun.
And like I said before, in a world where comedy is lacking, and I have seen an uptick in comedians recently in the past year be a lot more bold with not being afraid of woke culture. I think actually Chappelle was one who really pushed the needle here.
Yeah.
Where he did not back down from the transgenderism issues. They tried to cancel him multiple times, and Chappelle's like, come at me,
Yeah.
And so it's been
Bill Maher's another one he's been saying some good things.
Yeah, he's been saying some good things. In the next episode, he says some insane things. So you never know what you're going to get from